Hey guys, good morning. Welcome back. The title of the video is going to be The Economy is One Big Ocean of Economic Waves. Economic waves, guys. I've talked about this in the past, and I think I'm going to follow up with some videos on this. Now, when you go to a beach, let's say you go on vacation and it's nice and warm, and you take your family up to the beach, and you look out at this beach. Maybe there's 1,000 people at the beach. Everyone's happy on vacation, enjoying the day. You go there, and you look at those 1,000 people. 900 of them are sitting on the beach. They're sunbathing, all right? They do not want to go in the ocean. It's salty, it's sandy. You've got stingrays, you got jellyfish, you got sharks. What else? Maybe some seaweed. And then you have the waves, the swells. That is what most people are scared of the most. They're scared of those waves coming up and crashing into them. And they might fall down, get a little sandy. If there's some coral around, you might fall down and get cut up by the coral. So many people prefer to sit on the beach and chill. Maybe they're sipping their Mai Tai, their pina coladas, whatever it is, and that's what they're doing. They don't want to take the risk and get cut up by the coral, or get pummeled by a wave, or get sucked underneath the undertow, right? You've got the undertow. After a wave comes in, it sucks back out. Those swells are extremely powerful. The waves in the ocean can do a lot of damage. A lot of people do not understand how powerful water is. And that is exactly how the economy is built. It's built into waves at the end of the day. Now, some waves can go for miles and miles and miles across the entire ocean. And that is how the economy works as well. We've got some economic waves that have been going on for decades after decades. Look at computers. Computers have been moving forward for years and years. And if you invested in the computer technology industry, you've been riding that wave for a long time. And that wealth has been compounding year over year, decade over decade. And you're probably sitting now on the beach. You're sitting there chilling because you decided to ride this massive economic wave 20, 30, 40 years ago when it comes to computing. Maybe it's GPUs or NVIDIA or AMD, whatever it is. You know, you've been riding that wave. And now that you rode the wave all the way to shore, I mean, that wave isn't even over, but maybe you jumped off. Now you can go to the beach and just sit there with the blue skies and your pina colada and enjoy the day. That is what it's all about when it comes to riding the economic waves. Now, sometimes these economic waves, they combine together and they become a bigger wave and more fun, okay? You know, you think about it. Take computers, then take smartphones. That's a huge economic wave. You combine those two with the attention economy, that wave. Now you've got three waves that come together. And then you've got an even bigger wave. It's called the AI wave. And that wave, my friends, is just getting started. That wave is a massive swell out in the middle of the ocean, and it's coming to shore. It's coming to shore, and it's right at the reef right now. If you guys don't know, when you go to a beach, an ocean beach, and you look out there and you see where the waves are turning over, and you get that little white cap going, and you get that curl, That's where the reef is, the coral reef. It comes up, rises up, the ocean floor gets shallow, and that water, that swell, has to go somewhere. It's got to pop up and turn over and crash. And the AI wave is just getting to the coral reef. It's there right now. And there are big wave surfers, the guys and gals who want to make the big bucks. They're trying to catch that wave. That is what's happening right now. Everyone's sitting there on the beach, the 90% of people out there, and they're waiting to watch and see a surfer catch that wave at the end of the day. That's what's happening. And it's up to you whether or not you want to go into that ocean and try to catch that wave early enough, right? No one knows if this wave is actually going to break, meaning is it surfable or not. A lot of times waves, they'll come into the coral reef and maybe they just simply, they're like a smaller wave and they don't even crest over and crash, and they're not even surfable sometimes. And that happens. Sometimes surfers go out, they try to surf, and they try to catch a wave, and it just doesn't happen. The swell doesn't have enough energy to be surfable. However, I think with AI, I think this thing's going to be a monster tsunami that's surfable by many surfers. There's going to be, hundreds of surfers that are able to catch this wave and ride it for years. Years and years is how long I believe this wave is going to be. So ask yourself this question and let me know in the comments below. What type of surfer are you? Are you a surfer that's going to catch one of these economic waves? Are you going to try to catch maybe an AI ETF wave? Maybe that's a little safer. You spread your position out across multiple companies. That's more of like a softer wave, not as harsh, not as dangerous. Or are you trying to catch an individual big dog wave, like an individual stock? And maybe it's Nvidia, maybe it's Tesla, maybe it's Microsoft, whatever it is. You can definitely catch more than one wave, no doubt. There's lots of surfers that they catch a wave and then they jump off and they go right back to another one. That's the way I think about the markets and the economic world we live in. I think of it like an ocean waves, and there's all these different swells, and there's surfers, and there's boogie boarders that go out and try to have fun. They try to have fun and ride the wave for as long as they can. Now, there's other wave riders too. You've got the big dog surfers that go out and everyone looks at and they're like, oh, that looks so much fun, but it's scary. But then you've got the boogie boarders, maybe the mom and dads who take their kids to the ocean and they want to just ride a couple boogie boards and catch a smaller wave. Not at the reef, they don't go out that far. They just kind of stand at the sand in between the reef and the shore, and they catch the small S&P 500 waves. And they have a great time. They don't fall off, they don't get too hurt from a wave crashing onto them. They never fall into the reef and get cut up, by the reef. They just kind of fall over sometimes, but they get right back up. That's the thing with the S&P 500. You can fall here and there, but you can get right back up, and that S&P 500 will just continue on up and to the right. That's what happens with the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ for the most part. If you stay on that boogie board for long enough, in those two instruments, the QQQ and the SPY, you will do okay. You will have gone in the ocean and you will have rode a nice fun wave and you'll ride it in, and then you'll be part of the 90% again. When you ride it into shore and you retire, then you'll get your Mai Tais and your Pina Coladas out and you'll be sitting on the beach and you will have no stress. And you will have looked at that ocean and said to yourself, man, I had a lot of fun. I rode some decent waves when I was out there, when I was young. And what you'll do is, you'll look at the ocean and you'll be seeing all the new wave riders, all the young people, and you'll just enjoy it. You'll be like, oh man, that surfer out there, man, he busted it, right? He must have rode a speculative stock, right? He fell off that wave and got hurt, right? Oh, he put too much money into that wave and he got burned. And that's what you'll do. You'll sit there and enjoy the news stories. And that's what it is. The stock market is a bunch of stories. It's surfing stories at the end of the day. I really think that that's what this is. You know, and the media is all around it. They talk about all these stories. They talk about how the surfers fell off of this wave and that wave. But then they also talk about the surfers that rode the big dogs all the way in. Maybe it's NVIDIA, maybe it's Tesla, maybe it's AMD someday. Who knows which stocks it's going to be? But typically most people all agree that the S&P 500 and the QQQ, those waves, they typically always win. They always do, because those index funds always get rebalanced to the waves that are easy to ride at the end of the day. So hopefully you guys like this kind of concepts when it comes to thinking about the economy and being part of the economic waves. At the end of the day, you want to be part of that because you want to be able to build wealth in this world and be able to retire on the beach with your pina colada. That's the goal. That's the goal of this channel. So position yourself to be able to go into that ocean and play in the waves, whether that be being good with your finances or generating more income, having low debt. All those things matter when it comes to you having the conviction to jump in that ocean and ride a wave. That's what it all comes down to, all right? So think about it when you're starting out your career or your life. Maybe you're in your early 20s, or hey, even in your 30s, you can position yourself to start riding some waves and take your time and do it, all right? You can add little by little into the markets over time, and you know, maybe you just want to ride those small little waves. Over time, as you start to ride these waves, that account that you have will build up and build up. And at the end of the day, you'll have said, man, I rode a lot of little waves and it was a good time. And you'll have a nice compound account of value. All right. So that's the way you need to think about things. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you like these concepts of thinking about the economy and thinking about wealth building? That's the way I like it. You know, when I hear YouTubers talking about individual stocks, that just gets old at the end of the day. I like to take a broader perspective and a longer term outlook when it comes to things. That's what wealth building is all about. It's not about individual stocks at the end of the day. There's always gonna be individual stocks to catch a wave with. But if you don't understand the broader picture, you'll never jump in the ocean. And that's what it comes down to. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. And if you guys could, take a look at my previous video. And everyone, have a wonderful day. Thanks, guys. Bye.